This episode is brought to you by Loot Crate. Would you classify yourself as a geek, gamer, or pop culture nerd? Then this is a subscription box for you. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items of gamer and pop culture licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items, and more. Make sure you head to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the offer code kindafunny to save $3 on any new subscription. Not that long ago, and depending on where you live, not so far away, Loot Crate blasted off into a voyage across the galaxy, searching the far reaches of space to find universally awesome gear. Using December's Star Wars The Force Awakens loot as the launchpad, we landed on some equally cosmic items from Halo 5 and more. With an exclusive Funko Pop and an exclusive shirt in this month's crate, this is the loot you're looking for. Basically, Loot Crate is like a friend that knows you and loves you and surprises you with an awesome present every month. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate, and when the cutoff happens, Jack, that's it. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the offer code kindafunny to save $3 on your new subscription today. Before we wanted to go over Star Wars, The Force Awakens regrets. We were going to do a Patreon-only episode, so these are all topics pulled from. The next 3 topics are pulled from patreon.com/kindafunny. Of course, you can go there, support us, and get your topic read on the air, just like Kenny Char did. Kenny Char says, a heated topic among my friends. What is NSFW? What is not safe for work? When do we cross the line, ladies and gentlemen, of not safe for work? And obviously, I read it, and it's porn, nipples. You know what I mean? That jumps to it. But then I thought back to an experience I had with one Jessica Negri when I was still at IGN, and I had that giant monitor, right? Follow her on Twitter. We're friends. We know each other in real life. I've known her since Lollipop Chainsaw when I helped pick her with James Gunn. And I'm scrolling through the Twitter feed, and sure enough, this giant Jessica photo pops up, and she's all looking like Jessica looks. Amazing, of course, but she doesn't wear many clothes in these things. And I tweeted back, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, Negri, I'm at work. She's like, sorry. That's a great question. Now, granted, IGN wasn't your normal workplace. Based on the websites you people go to when we're at the kitchen table, this isn't a normal workspace. But feel free to toss out some of your links if you want. No?
Thanks.
Okay. What's interesting about it is, does that fall into not safe for work? Is not safe for work only when you're talking about where you work? Is it so temperamental that what's not safe for work at a bank is totally safe for work at IGN or here? You know what I mean?
Well, it depends, because IGN, you need to be in the know with that kind of thing, right?
Sure.
There's a line I'd say the line is really blurry at a place like IGN or a place like Kinda Funny versus if you're working at the Citibank.
Sure.
You know, if you're a teller at a bank, you probably should just stay away from Instagram, stay away from Twitter, stay away from the internet in general.
Yeah.
Maybe just don't even go on. But at IGN, what you're talking about is, you're talking about a site that used to have, remember IGN Babes?
That moved to Stars, but it was still Babes, yeah.
But it was Babes.
Yeah.
And it was basically like softcore porn.
Yeah.
Great. I loved it. I enjoyed the shit out of it.
But eventually IGN moved away from it because they're like, that's not what we are.
This is porn. And it drove clicks, but it's not really substantive programming for your audience. It's hard because I've personally produced like Comic-Con wrap-ups for cosplay where you're like,
sure,
these are borderline
cosplay. I feel like you can get away with though. I think cosplay images, if you have some sexy man or female up, like He-Man or She-Ra or whatever, insert whatever scantily clad hero, male or female up there, that's when you can start getting away with it, where clearly that's an interpretation of a character. And not that you're on DeviantArt going through all this stuff, you know what I mean, looking at this, but I mean like on your Twitter feed if that pops up.
I mean, that's Jessica Negri though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean that.
But
like
I
that,
mean,
well,
today
I'll
just show.
That's any model that you follow, right? Any model I follow. I follow a wide variety of people on Twitter and Instagram. And a lot of them are hot girls. And a lot of them are either fitness models or yoga models, or they're just really pretty girls that take awesome pictures. But at the same time, if I were scrolling through some of them, you'd be like, Nick, what the fuck are you looking at? I'm
right.
Like, this is just yoga girl.
Yeah.
She's doing an awesome
Yoga
handstand.
girl.
See, it's you. Yeah, I'm with you. Usually Jess is doing like cosplay, but this is just Victoria's Secret stuff she bought and wanted to model. So see, like that's the thing. If Jess rolled by and it was
But I mean, what's
Pikachu,
the difference to someone that doesn't know?
Good point.
Is the
Great
thing.
point.
It's
Great
just
point.
like that looks like cosplay to me.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, that's some anime character I don't know.
Sure.
You know?
But this is the slippery slope, right? Because what the hard answer is, it's whatever your coworkers are going to get offended at. And that is a relative thing, and it's a very slippery thing. And it's unfortunate. I wish Colin were here for this topic because he would talk about, we had a topic about this of like what's too PC a while back. And I think that's where this starts to go is looking at Sports Illustrated. Back in the 80s and 90s, looking at a Sports Illustrated calendar, a bunch of dudes, fine, right?
Yeah, at the garage.
Is
They're
that fine
all
anymore?
covered in grease, rubbing each other.
Just
Shirts
slowly
got to get off. Gonna go back
giving
out
into
there.
their homoerotic tendencies.
It happens.
Just realizing that no one's around.
Yeah.
Kevin, take your shirt off and show us your belly button. Kevin, let me see your belly
No,
button.
that's the whole thing.
Moments I keep feeling
I think I don't. The not safe for work tag is put on anything that I think you would get to you get used to it, right, when you're talking about Reddit, when you're looking at a video on Reddit or an image on Reddit or whatever, that then don't pull this up at work. But Twitter is this I'm not asking for any of this to be pulled up, right? Even if I just scroll, I get that stuff there.
I mean, and so I've been a little silent on this because I've been thinking about it. It's hard for me because I like to strategize. I have a lot of theories in my head about social video and all this stuff and social media and how it all works and how you get people to click on things and this and that. And where is the line? Because it's I don't ever want to cross that line of clickbait and I'm getting people to click on sex, But so then Love and Sex stuff is a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
I make the thumbnails for that. And I have rules of what I will put in the thumbnails and what I won't put in the thumbnails.
Sure.
And I don't know where they exactly come from. And I think my kind of internal struggle is the answer to this question, where it's obviously no nipples and no whatever, but
no
it's
Chuchi.
even more than that. It's I try to aim more towards showing things as this is sex, this is two people together, and stuff like that. And even when it comes to headlines and stuff, not just imagery, because I think that even a headline can be not safe for work.
Sure.
And I'll try to even if we're talking about stuff and in the content, we can talk about blowjobs and it's not bad, but how to give a blowjob, for some reason I question, should I do that? Whereas how to get better at sex, I'm totally okay with saying. But what's the difference between that? How to give a blowjob and how to get better at sex? Why is one more graphic than the other? And that's where I kind of fall into it. It's what are my rules? Why do I feel like the blowjob's going too far, but the sex
because
isn't?
blowjob is a term that's more of a slang term too, where you would use that primarily. It's looked upon as more of a crass term. Where if you wanted to be scientific about it, I would say there's nothing wrong with putting a headline that says how to give better oral sex. But whenever you sterilize something with scientific terminology, you're going out of your way to say this is in the realm of science and scientific discovery or scientific conversation. So we can talk about that, and people can't really come after you that. But if I said best way to suck dick,
I'd click on
can't
it.
put that out. You can't put that out because I'm also objectifying whatever that thing is. I'm not having an intelligent discussion about it. I'm talking about sucking dick. Sucking that D.
Yeah.
I'm kicking that P.
Yeah,
Suck
exactly.
the D, kick the P, as I always say.
It's Greg
So I
always
think
says.
I think it's somewhere in there, and everyone has different lines and the problem with this is what's not safe for work for one person, for me, is very different than from Nick, is very different than from a lot of other people.
Well,
and
it's really different from me.
exactly. But it's
I think everything's safe.
But there's some things that are just words are not safe for work,
Yeah.
or just images of even if it is just an anime picture of the people that not even cosplay, but just these scantily clad just heroes. That is not safe for work. And then there's the violent stuff, and that's different too. And it's I don't know. It's a very interesting question that I struggle with.
It's dangerous because I think that things that are safe are lessening, right? As people get, as Joe Rogan puts it, the green light to be offended on things, right? And I love that term, and I love that he kind of coined that and perfectly encapsulate what it is that it's anything that people can be offended at is not safe for work. Not get offended at, but can be offended at. So if I'm looking at a picture of even myself shirtless, which to be fair is pretty offensive to the eyes in general, but that possibly could offend you.
Yeah.
Right. And so I can't look at that, even though it's me. It's me shirtless. So it's very dangerous. I'd say err on the side of caution.
Here's what
these
I
days.
did. I went to Reddit.
Yeah.
And I did the search for not safe for work, so we can look at them and
Okay.
decide if that is this
This is
pushing the
fun.
line too far or not. The first one here is who, just younger, NSFW.
Okay. Ugh.
Who is this woman?
That's Kate Upton, I think.
Okay, it's Kate Upton, but younger. Her shirt is see-through,
I
so you can see her nip.
That is definitely not safe for work.
Not porn.
It's porn. You can see her entire breast. Now, again, I'm not saying she shouldn't be able to do it. I love it. I think it's a beautiful image. But I don't think that any of my female bosses at IGN or any of my female coworkers would appreciate me looking at that.
See, here's my thing. I'm not,
because there is an objectification part of that, right? That is not an image that she took. Someone took that of her.
I wouldn't use
but
this.
she's posing for it.
I wouldn't use this as a thumbnail.
Sure. But
don't make it sound like it's like a candid or something.
I'm not, and again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like, I don't see this. I wouldn't classify this as pornographic necessarily, but I would classify it as not safe for work.
Yeah, then that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't use this as a thumbnail, but I would think about it.
Unless there was more to that picture.
With the nipple included? Or cropping around the nipple?
Here.
I mean, well, that's the problem is you can't crop around the nipple or else it like looks even worse, I think.
Okay.
Like if you block that nipple out, then it's like it's obvious the nipple was there.
Okay.
Which I think causes an even bigger problem than the nipple in
the
first place.
This one's interesting. Reddit, what are you taking? Do you guys use Reddit a lot? I forget.
Yeah.
Okay, so Reddit, what secret are you quote unquote taking to the grave? NSFW. And this is going to be one of the text ones.
Yeah.
I always find these really interesting.
Yeah.
That these are marked not safe for work because it's just stories, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of the stories can be graphic in nature and pornographic, right? If people are like, "Oh, I secretly love hookers,"
I don't know.
It's
I guess for me, like when I see a not safe for work tag, I immediately think sex or porn or something like that, nudity.
Usually
I don't think a story in here is going to be not safe for work. Not safe for work for me to like narrate it, you know what I mean, or talk to read it aloud to my coworkers.
Yeah, but
Sure,
I think
but
too, in the sense of like, what if someone was looking through your search history and came across this?
And so that's the dangerous part is like, remember that at most corporate offices, your right to privacy ends when you walk through the door.
Sure.
So anything you're doing on their servers, legally speaking, I don't know how it is in your state, but in California, I'm pretty sure if you start looking up porn stories, they can actually track that. Kevin, you're fucked. You're so fucked. Sorry, buddy.
This is our escape clause to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting how you said it.
This is a fun game, though. We should keep clicking on these.
Well, I mean, some of them are super obvious. Madeline Zima in Californication. Well, I don't know who that is, but I know what Californication is in there. Yeah,
that's like all the punches in the face.
Yeah, that's like the first episode.
Great.
Yeah.
This has been an ongoing thing, man. Like there's a lot of questions I have, and I think a lot of them come down to the moral, like, justifications of where we're at and how things are changing. When you're talking about this like green light for all this stuff. I mean, to take this in a slightly different conversation and more making about the politically correct stuff.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this recently of like, how has my language changed over time? And what am I not okay with saying now that I used to be okay saying? And, you know, like gay will come up, right?
Sure.
And I never really, like, being born and raised here, my uncle's gay. Like, I grew up thinking gay was normal. So gay as an insult was never something in my vocabulary at all. But
was for me.
I know that it was for other people.
Country, yeah.
So the idea of using gay as an insult now, it's like, you can't do that. Like you hear that and you're like, whoa, what are you doing? But saying like retard, that was something in my vocabulary.
Sure.
But then somewhere around high school, I think when Black Eyed Peas put out the song "Let's Get Retarded," that I remember started this huge like controversy of like, you can't do that, you can't say that. And I remember thinking like, what? Like, why? And now I think about it, and I'm like, I can't believe I thought that way.
Yep.
Like I can't believe that I was so blown away that people were upset about them having that as the song. And it's like things kind of change. So that makes me think of like, what am I saying now that I'm going to look back later? And like the answer is it's swearing.
Oh, okay.
Like when you're just like swearing at all, and specifically saying like goddamn or like saying,
you think
oh
you're
my
look
God.
back and regret that?
Well, what I'm saying is it's just like that. These are the things that like do offend people, but I don't care.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
And so it's like, back then I didn't care that retard offended people.
Well, no, you just didn't. Yeah, you didn't. It's true you didn't care, but it's also because you weren't aware of how your words were affecting other people, right? Like, for instance, I'll still say "goddamn," and I know that it offends people, but I don't care. I don't care about that because that's one that I will not budge on. I'm sorry. Like, I don't believe in any sort of organized religion or God at all. So that word to me just means nothing. It is just an exclamation. It is just a way to proclaim something that I'm doing the Colin right now. You notice that when I'm sitting in this chair, I channel Colin for some reason. I don't know why.
You're not doing enough of this.
Also, I'll say the same thing with retarded, right? Like, when you're talking about someone who is mentally handicapped or physically handicapped, I appreciate that. But you just using the word retarded or saying something's retarded, I don't see as being that big of a deal. But people, I think it gives people the green light to say, well, you're making fun of
but you don't use the
people.
word
And I'm
anymore,
like,
right?
Well, I'll say something is retarded occasionally. I don't say it on camera because I don't want to offend people. I don't want the shitstorm that comes with that.
Right.
But if I'm like, oh my God, this movie ticket machine is retarded, and I'm using it to say that it is malfunctioning in a way that's pissing me off, then I don't see that. I don't think people should get offended.
But I think more and more, it gets to the point that when you do that, everyone in the room goes,
Yeah. Oh,
right.
yeah.
And I
But
think
that's
that's
dangerous.
the change though. But that's gay though. Like that's what gay was
Exactly.
too.
Right, but gay, that's different though, because gay was used to describe something that was, you were saying is not normal, not right? And so,
No.
and in
No.
doing so,
It's
in
the
a-
same as retarded.
yeah,
I
but when you
use
say
it-
something like, oh, that's when you say that's totally gay. Oh, that's gay. That what you're saying to people is you're likening that to a homosexual person in a secondary way, right? Whereas if I say something retarded is an actual word that means something is not functioning correctly or it's working slower than it should. Like that is not a word. That is a word that people started calling people who are handicapped. Gay is a word that defines someone who likes a person of the same sex. It also means happy, but we don't use that in the common vernacular in the United States, right? If you're in the UK, you can say something's gay and it's totally fine because you're just saying we're happy about it. So what I'm saying is I'm saying, yeah, don't say either words. Just be careful and don't say either. But to me, they're not the same. To me, when you were saying something was gay, that was literally representing that you were being really, really insensitive to homosexual people. And if I say something's retarded, that's just it's just a poor use of a word for something that's like just not working right in my brain. I don't equate that to a handicapped person.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people do.
They
I mean,
do, and
that's
it's
the thing, though. I mean,
dangerous, sure.
but I don't see the difference between them.
The difference is in how Nick uses both words and how his mind wraps around. I'm right there with you. If something was dumb and I was growing up, that was gay. If I did something dumb, that was retarded. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't because the machine was working slower or that I was making any reference to homosexuality. It was just the way you use those words. And then, yeah, I've told a story a million times. I went to college, finally met gay people, and they're like, that's not cool. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's a similar thing with retarded, right? Where I slipped up recently and said it on camera in some end of some stream or whatever. And I didn't make a big deal about it, and nobody in the chat said anything about it or anything, but because it's like still that thing. But I don't
But it
mean
hits you, and you're like,
exactly, because I don't want people watching our content. And like you're saying with goddamn, right?
But
I say goddamn and I tweet goddamn, and kids will write in and be like, hey man, that offends me. And I'm like, hey, I get it, but I like it. And
I
it's
like
like
it.
I
Yeah, I'm
don't
sorry. I'm not gonna
agree
budge
with
on
you
that.
on this one. Whereas with retarded, if that is putting you off and you know someone and you had a bad experience where I went to school with kids whose brothers and sisters were handicapped, right? And like had Down syndrome, and they got it screamed at them on the street. And that was when it was like, oh, right, I shouldn't use it. Like, I don't mean it that way, but that doesn't matter what I mean. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know what I mean?
I mean, it is all in the intent. It is all in the
Exactly.
intent, right? Because you are allowed to use the word gay.
You're allowed to use any
a
word you
person-
want.
Well,
mittens.
you're allowed to describe someone who is homosexual as gay. That is a preferred terminology for someone, right? So if
Yeah.
I'm using it in that context, fantastic.
Of course.
You are not allowed to call someone in any way, shape, or form a retard if they are mentally handicapped, right? But that word does have a definition that is removed from someone who is handicapped or mentally
Yes,
deficient,
yes, I
right?
understand.
Gay does not. In the United
no,
States,
but
in the
no,
vernacular.
like
that is the difference.
They
to me.
did refer to themselves as that.
As retarded?
Yeah.
That was a scientific term, yes, but I'm saying you can also describe other things as retarded. I can't call that camera gay. It doesn't make sense, right? Like I can't, it's not a term that you use other than to describe a homosexual person. So therefore it is a slang term. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I mean,
What else would you call gay?
No, but what else would you call retarded? Like, is that used?
Yes.
Really?
That bike is retarded. That guy, that car is retarded.
I don't
Any-
think
yeah.
that's a use of it.
It is a musical term for one.
No, that's
it means to
retard.
be slow. Yeah,
Retard,
it's
not
based on
retarded.
that. Retard is based on a Latin word. Retard. Retarded. Something is retarded. It means it is not working correctly. It is slow. It is not functioning properly. It is not specifically designed. I mean, I could be wrong.
We're
I mean, I
Googling.
think- I
We're
think that it
Googling.
is. I could
But
be
I
wrong
do
too.
know
but
that word did not just come about when people figured out mental handicap. They were
I mean,
called
but I
slow.
think-
They were called special. They were called handicapped people. But retarded is a word. It is not synonymous with people with a malfunction of the brain at all. Or
All right.
malformity of the brain.
I could be
I
wrong.
could be
on
wrong.
that.
If I am,
think
I
that's
will
the
gladly
case.
stop using the term in that way.
So, according here to Google,
Mhm.
retarded, adjective, dated offensive, less advanced in mental, physical, or social development than is usual for one's age. Informal offensive, very foolish or stupid. Retard as a verb is delay or hold back in terms of progress, development, or accomplishment. His progress was retarded by his limp. Past tense retarded. Past participle retarded.
So you could theoretically, not granted, most people wouldn't, but you could use that as a verb to describe pretty much anything that was not working correctly.
But that's like saying like people. You could use gay as happy, but people don't.
Well, people do, but they don't do anymore because now the word's synonymous with something that's bad.
Yeah.
So they don't use
Same
it.
thing there.
Like we're having a gay old time. That was in a cartoon, for Christ's sake. They'll have a gay old time.
Flintstones, everybody got it, nailed it.
Yeah, so we can't use it anymore. But I hear what you're saying, right? Now, having said all of this, I would rather, and I would always rather, people err on the side of caution, especially with not safe for work, than on the side of trying to push the limits, right?
Mhm.
Because you don't know what's offensive. And to your point earlier, we are learning that, right? And we are becoming more aware because we have people that are on like the far left crazy social justice warrior side lashing out at people. It is making us more aware of other people's feelings, and I think that's always a good thing.
It is a good thing
right?
overall.
And if
for
people
sure.
tweet at me about this or leave comments saying Nick is wrong, I will take that into consideration because I'm not purporting to like this is not a hill I'm going to die on as far as the word retarded is concerned.
Sure.
But I just
Again, I think the important thing to point out here is that when you're talking about that you use the word retard or retarded, you're saying it in a way that is pertaining to that.
Right.
Whereas if I'm using, when I slip up and say, oh man, that's retarded, I'm saying it's stupid. You're not saying the machine's stupid, you're saying the machine's working slow.
I'm saying I'm saying this machine is stupid, but I'm not necessarily equating that to this machine has Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm not using it in my brain. It doesn't go through. Let's be really mean to people who are less fortunate or have mental disabilities, and then let's use that terminology to say this, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when I think the word gay or my use of the word gay when I was younger, it was to make fun of homosexual people, right? It was saying, I'm equating you to someone who is in my brain and in the world a lesser person because of this thing that you have that all of us feel is weird and stupid and different. So you are that person, right?
Yes,
You are weird, stupid, and
that's
different. You're a
interesting to me.
minority. You are gay. You are, all the things that you will never be me, this macho heterosexual guy. Therefore, you are inferior.
Like when you kiss your
That's
dad
gay.
goodbye or something and your friend will go gay.
Yeah, I'm not doing that because
Yeah,
I'm fucking
yeah.
macho and alpha,
Yeah.
right? But so that's why I don't use that term. Because I feel like that has a lot more of a destructive in my brain is a lot more destructive when you just throw that out there. Same with the word fag. That you just should never use that word.
Unless you're
Yeah,
British.
I mean, I
Again,
guess
they get away with
Unless you want a
everything.
cigarette.
God damn.
The people that I know that use
You know?
those words, like they didn't use them that way. It was all synonyms, like retarded, gay, stupid. Might as well have all been the same thing.
I
And
do.
it's like,
I'm with you that that's how we looped them together, and that's why I backed away from all of them. And like, I'll slip up every so often and say something stupid. But
But where does it end, right? Because the word dumb can also be used to describe
and
someone who
that's
doesn't
kind
have
of what I'm
mental
saying.
deficiency.
Like that's my point with
That's
this whole
my
thing.
point. Is like that word does not mean that in my vocabulary. But what happens if all of a sudden everyone's like, you can't use dumb anymore because that's what they used to call people who had Down syndromes back in the 40s? I'm like, fuck you. I'm using dumb because it's just a word that describes something that I think is not working properly.
Sure.
That fucking thing is dumb. Can't say that. You have to say that thing. You have to be exact about the terminology of why this car is not working properly. The starter is not working.
these spark plugs are broken.
The spark plugs need to be adjusted.
I'm just saying, like, I know how vehemently I was against stopping using the word retarded when I heard about the Black Eyed Peas song.
Sure.
And now I'm just shocked that I have changed so much.
Oh no,
in my thoughts.
I'm the
Sure.
same way. I remember going to college and someone telling me you shouldn't say gay. I was like, fuck that. I don't mean it like that. And I was standing on that hill. I'm like, no, I'm gonna say this because it's totally fine, and we're all being. I didn't say PC at the time, but we're all being too sensitive about it. Da 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 da. And the story always goes that I made a bet with a guy across the hall. Not even a bet, but like a thing of like. He's like, this Jason X movie or whatever the hell it was that was opening in 2001 was going to be the #1 movie in America. I was like, no fucking way. Da, 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 da. And the next day he came over and threw the newspaper at me. He's like, it's #1 in America. And I opened it. I'm like, and he left the room. So I screamed across. I'm like, that is so gay. And our friend Graham, who is gay, walked by and he's like, hey, Greg, what'd you say? And I'm like, this fucking Jason X movie. He's like, no. But why did you use gay? And I'm like, you know what I mean. He's like, I know what you mean. And you know what you mean. So, and it was like this like, come to Jesus moment of don't do that. Similar to how it was for retarded for me growing up. You know what I mean? Knowing people who had it used in a negative way thrown at them. So I was like, I got to back off and not call my friends retarded. If they do something dumb.
Don't get me wrong. Again, I would rather we live in a society where people question these things, right? Like just talking about this now, I'm like, I see your perspectives on this. This is changing my perspective a little bit on using that word. Now, granted, I don't use the word anyway.
that's the thing.
Not because I have any sort of aversion to it. Just because it is one of those hot words where you're like, you use that, you might be incurring a wrath that you just don't want to necessarily.
I mean, the
deal
big thing
with.
for us always is like we want to be examples, right? Like this is the whole no homo hill I always do. When somebody says no homo to me, I'm like, don't fucking say that. There's no reason. You telling me you love me or you like my content, I'm not jump to. This gay guy wants to have sex with me. That's not the logical leap. We don't need to say that. We can all say we love each other and not make it weird. You know what I mean? Like we want to be examples. Like when I slip up and say something that I don't mean to say, like I feel bad about it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like whenever I compliment Colin. Damn, I want to do that.
Yeah, you can't do that because then it just
Does
creates
that thing
a
where it does
monster.
this thing?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like to be clear, and going back to not safe for work, there's
This episode not safe for work.
well, our episodes are never safe for work. Truth be told, yeah, I mean, it sucks. It does suck because at a certain point when you're on the other side of that, especially if you're a white straight male and you want to look at a picture of a girl at work, you might feel like you're not allowed to do that, and that might be unjust. But just know this: you can't do it. It sucks. But you know what sucks even more? Making someone else out there uncomfortable because you're doing something that they can't tell you to stop. You know what I mean? And so, I always say with everything that happens, you know, with what's happening now with these quote unquote social justice warriors, I would rather people err on the side of let's go a little too far on we're over conscientious about this stuff so that we can come back and meet in the middle as a society, because that's what we always do.
Yeah, it's
right?
I think it's all case by case, and it is a learning process. Every single thing you put out there, there is no rules. There is no rules that everyone needs to follow, and it's your own internal rules. And you put those out, and then you see what the reaction is. And you kind of go from there.
Good job, Kenny Char. He led in with a heated topic among my friends, and I thought this would be done in like 10 minutes. Look, we had a great topic, great discussion.
That was good.
So what is not safe for work? Everything. Don't talk at work.
Just
Don't
don't
look
do
at
anything.
anything. Turn off all your notifications on your phone.
Don't look at anyone.
Don't look at anybody. Yeah,
anyone.
don't do that.
Just come in with blind. Don't even come. Well, you can't come in with blind glasses on then, because then you're making fun of blind people.
Blind glasses?
You know what I mean? Like big, thick. You know the big blue blockers that blind people.
Oh,
wear
well, that's if
sometimes?
you get your eyes dilated. You can
can't
wear
do that
those.
anymore.
Really?
No, you can't.
What do I do if I get my eyes dilated?
You just got to sit in the room until your eyes come back.
Jesus.
Your
You
eyes
can't go outside.
2015 is a nightmare.
Fuck Greg Miller. He makes fun of blind people.